Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, we've got a special episode. It's a lockdown episode, unfortunately, but it is a special one. Managed to rope Mr. Dench into doing a lockdown podcast. There's video, so if you're not checking us out on YouTube, jump over there right now, and while you're there, give us a like and a subscribe, and then tell some friends to do the same. Like I say, there is a video. We get into all things lockdown-based, games, movies, TV, all the stuff that we should be doing with our time in lockdown. So here we go. This is CookieCast, Lockdown Special Podcast with Edward Dench. Okay, that's that, and let's see about sorting this. That seems to say it's recording.
It did say it. It says it in the top corner as well.
There we go. There you go. Oh yeah, it does. It says it in the top corner. Yeah. So here we go. This is second, third lockdown podcast that I've done so far. I was coding a podcast today. And I said, Edward Dench, really needs to get him on a podcast. So one text message and, I don't know, a handful more text messages, and here we are, the same day, the exact same day. Edward Dench. How the devil are you, sir? Drinking and smoking.
Alright, I mean, I'm coping.
Well, we all need our coping mechanisms.
So I've got whiskey. I think I'll manage.
Well, how is the stocks of whiskey doing? Is it? The
stocks of whiskey aren't bad. I've still got 2 bottles of the Freig. I've just opened this bottle of Glenfiddich. Product placement: Glenfiddich, give me free stuff. Yeah, so we just opened that for this evening. I've got another bottle of Balvenie. I've got an old bottle of wild turkey that I don't think I'll ever drink. I've also got some caramel liqueur in there that some wanker brought from my house and I've never drank.
Ooh.
Yeah, that'd be Paul Williams' fault.
Caramel liqueur. Ooh.
It stinks. It fucking reeks. You take a sniff and it's just like, oh, there's the diabetes. Oh, Jesus. Oh, it just smells sickening. Yeah. And I think I've trounced 2 of my bottles of whiskey in the last week and a half. It's just because when you go on a chat, I feel like I should have a drink of some sort. I've almost run out of beer in the fridge, so I'm working my way through the whiskies now. So, yeah, it's passing the time. The better supply to show though. For all of the isolationists who need to better stock themselves, there you go. That is how you prep for isolation, people.
How much is there?
1, 2, 3. About 40 packs.
And what size are the 50-gram packs?
Yeah, about 40, 50 grams. £25 average price in the UK per packet. Didn't pay that for them.
No,
all duty free, thankfully.
That's
how we stop at the end of days.
At this point in time, would you say that you are smoking more than you would have been?
Yes. Yes. Just in the working days, yes.
Well, I was going to say, are you working from your smoking room?
Yes.
Oh.
It's a good little setup. It's comfy, it's cosy, it's not too big, so it keeps itself relatively warm with everything running. But unfortunately, I do find myself chain smoking a bit more. So a 50-gram pouch started last week. It should have lasted me the whole week, and yeah, it may cut about 3 days short.
Oh dear.
Not great. Yeah, I'm just going to have to be better and manage myself a little more and try my best not to give in to every 5-minute fag break I can do with. He says he lights his fag again. But yeah, so how many actual isolation casts have you done now with others?
With others, I've literally done the WrestleMania podcast, which was 2 parts.
Was that the other night?
Yeah.
Discussing largely about The Undertaker's disappointing performance.
Well, yeah. Basically, it was done... So, WrestleMania was last weekend, and it was done on the Wednesday before. So it was like, who do you think is going to win? Who's going to make a special appearance? So on and so forth. And then WrestleMania was at the weekend. So then at some point we will review that. I actually watched some of it. I've watched. Paul was like, "Oh, you need to watch this one and this one and this one." It was interesting.
Kaylee showed me the Undertaker one. She was very excited for the Undertaker match, and just all the way through, she kept going, "Oh God, oh God."
Did she watch?
What is this? It's like it was fake before. It just looks worse now.
Did she watch the Firefly Funhouse one?
No, I didn't.
Bray Wyatt and John Cena.
I imagine Kaylee. She was very excited for this. Very disappointed by it.
I've watched like the specials like that. I watched the Undertaker one. I watched the Firefly Funhouse one, and then I've watched a couple of the actual matches. And I don't know if they saved the good stuff for the stuff that I didn't watch, but from what I've seen, it was appalling. I think it feels very much like they've used the fact that there's no crowd to just phone it in. I know that they were rushing to get it recorded.
So I figured that the lack of an audience and the lack of that sort of busy atmosphere needed to be subsidised. And that's what's resulted in what they've attempted. It's not even that they phoned it in, it's that they've tried too hard to make up for their absence of people.
Yeah.
And it's just looks terrible.
Yeah, there's a few points that's a bit cringe-worthy.
It's like he's forgotten all the years of him artificially punching people in the face. Yeah. He forgot how fake punch people. All the way through it, you saw the other guy on the floor and this hand was going, and it was stopping a good fucking, about this distance away from the face. It was nowhere near him. Oh, God. I feel for him, because the old bloke's obviously older than he should be doing this, and his depth perception must be off.
I mean, this is the thing, I keep saying, they've got all these old guys that they should just kind of let them wander off into the sunset, let them do conventions, make their money that way, but...
All the fans doing that now, Imagine half of the bloody WWF's viewer basis left the moment The Rock left. And that's why they keep bringing him in for little cameos here and there, just so that the fans come running back, just in case he comes in.
Yeah, I mean he has a lot of pull. That's why they had him on for the Super Bowl as well. Yeah, they introduced the Super Bowl, but then now they've got American football players in the wrestling, because the part of WrestleMania was hosted by Rob Gronkowski.
Right. You see, this is where you lose me on all
this. Yeah, it gets very confusing. They've got boxers, they've got...
who's willing to ruin their good name.
Paycheck's paycheck, innit? I imagine the numbers that they get thrown at them are probably quite big, so...
So yes, so you've had that one. Any other solo... isolation casts?
Just I do mine, and Leanne's doing hers.
Leanne's just doing her own little
day
40.
Yeah, she's got her own podcast now.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's had a couple of episodes. She's doing it bi-weekly, so it started over a month ago. So it's similar in a lot of ways to mine, but kind of from her perspective. So it's like films that she watches, games that she plays, that sort of thing. She's doing like a segment on running. So
I was surprised earlier Ken was asking me about the new Animal Crossing, and I was like, I don't know anything about it, though. I don't know anything about the old one, other than the world seemed to love it for some unknown reason. Maybe I have to have a listening to Leanne's if Leanne's talked about it.
Well, there is a copy of Animal Crossing in our house. It is not yet made its way into the Switch because our Switch has been firmly taken over by Link's Awakening.
Were you planning on playing Animal Crossing?
It's not really my thing. She reminded me of something the other day. She was saying about how she used to have to get up at 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning to go and harvest turnips or something when they're playing it on I think it was on like the GameCube or something. And I was like, what? She was like, yeah, then she tried to change the time on it, but then it knew that you were cheating and stuff like that. Just like...
Good. Had dirty tricks all the way through it. He even knew if you, closed your game early and failed to save when you went back in, he goes, by the way, I know what you did. So, comments. It's good.
Yeah, but very much like you, I was very much aware that, everybody loved it.
Too cute to all touch of the COVID.
Oh,
touch of the COVID.
I'm absolutely full of the COVID. No, I don't know what it is whenever I come and do a podcast in this room. I don't know if it's just dry in here or something. I just get really sort of dry throat. No other time. Like when I sit in here on an evening, play computer games and stuff, it's like never get a cough of any kind. But when I actually come in here to sit down to record a podcast, I just start coughing. I've already drunk nearly drunk half my drink.
I'm just going to unplug this so I can put my feet up. Get real comfy. There we go. So I was going to say the Animal Crossing thing. If you do fancy a game on it, bear in mind you can only run one copy on a Switch. One copy per Switch. It's not even you could buy 2 copies and run the same copy, run separate copies on the same Switch. No, only one per Switch. They put weird limitations in to stop people sharing it around the family. Really, really difficult.
So if me and Leanne wanted to play it, we'd have to buy another Switch?
As far as I understand it, you'd have to completely erase the data on the Switch, so that the record of her playing is gone.
Okay.
And then start it brand new with you on. But it's tied to the account on the Switch itself. Which is the added problem, even if you put multiple accounts on there, it still recognises that Switch is tied to that account. Therefore, only that one will run on it. It's fucking weird, isn't it? I don't know the extent of that limitation, but there is a limit in there that says, Andy, once she starts playing it, you can't. Good luck.
That is just bizarre.
So we find better and better ways of alienating their clients.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem to hurt their bottom line, does it? They're as a company, they're still going strong.
They could market the next Pokemon, and every single creature could be a different shape of turd, and the kids would still buy it.
People would still buy it.
Like Nintendo.
Yeah. People would still buy it.
The fact.
What are you playing at the moment?
I've actually just been climbing through some of the old ones. I caved into Steam Sale today, had the Jurassic Park expansion, the Jurassic World Evolution. So I may have picked that up for a tenner, thinking, you know what, go on, I'd like some nostalgia. And so far, it's living up to it. They've planned all the levels to look just like the original, very nice. It's like, yeah, clever, well done, I like that. But outside of that, I'm just playing through old things. I've been trouncing Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition HD remaster. And I remember spending days on that as a kid. When I first got that on the PlayStation 2, I think it was on that one.
And
trying to play that all the way through took me days. Yep. I think I've spent about 9 hours on it. I'm almost at the final boss battle.
It's a different time, isn't it? I remember, the way we used to play games compared to the way we play games now is very different. I remember playing The one that always sticks in my mind is the original Metal Gear Solid, not the original, but the one that was on the first one that was on the PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
I remember playing that for months because I'd play it for a couple of hours at a time and then probably wouldn't play it for a week or so because I was too busy doing other stuff.
Yeah.
Now game playing is a much bigger part of our existence. I don't know whether that's an age thing. It's not like I'm out doing the things that I was doing at the age I was playing that originally. Now my evenings are very much spent sat playing games.
Mm.
You probably put, I don't know, anywhere up to 6 hours. You could put 6 hours a day into a game and not even blink.
Yeah. You said that my point on it is more that I remember it taking me days to finish it. I mean, days worth of time. If you look at time recording on how long I spent playing that back then, it will have been 20 plus hours. Whereas to get to the final boss battle just starting yesterday, playing for a bit today, I think I've done 9, maybe 10 so far. Which it's entertaining. I've thought about playing the first one again. And I thought, you know what, there's only so much acting I can deal with. I'm quite ready for that yet.
I remember playing Devil May Cry for the first time, and I remember the reason it sort of come to my attention was my housemate at the time was like, "Oh, I found this game, and it's like your game across the board. It's like, over the top jumping, over the top shooting, massive sword, loads of fighting." And I was like, "Oh, this sounds interesting." I remember playing it as a demo to start with, back in the days when you got demos. And just being blown away by it. Like, I'd never seen or played anything like it. And then rushing out to get it day one to play and just playing it thoroughly. And that, like I say, that game was like nothing I'd ever experienced before. It was such a good game. And obviously it sparked an entire franchise.
Well, to be fair, the original one was supposed to be a sequel to Resident Evil.
Yeah.
And that they sort of looked at it, and it doesn't really work as Resident Evil, does it? But we like it as an actual game. Cut all the Resident Evil shit out of it and market it. Oh, fair enough. And lo and behold, and you can see the similarity in the first one. When you play the first one, when you interact with things and it goes, this is a painting of an old person. You can interact with virtually everything like you could in Resident Evil.
Yeah.
And the thing with actual note would interact properly or highlight the key points and things. And there's so much of it is very familiar to the old Resident Evil games. It is like playing one, just with a big ass sword.
Like Dino Crisis.
Very unique for the time. It was one of the earliest games out on the PS2, I think.
Yeah.
With Jack and Daxter.
Mm-hmm.
They were some of the first two to come out, and they were great games. That's what we need. We need the Jack and Daxter remaster collection. Ah, yes. I'd love me some Precursor Orbs redone. That'd be great. Precursor Legacy. Sorry.
I feel like they've done something like that.
They did. Well, they re-released them for the PSP. You can buy the actual Jack and Daxter trilogy for PSP because I've also bought the Ratchet and Clank collection for PSP. And it's the only reason I bought my PSP was so I could play those again. I quite like to actually do fully remastered versions of them. Because it's one of those things I'm upset by not owning PS4. I've not played the Ratchet and Clank remake they did. Because they re-released Ratchet and Clank for PS4 with real nice graphics and good quality detailed fur on the character and things. And, niceties that don't matter, but I really enjoy playing. Never got the chance. I'll have a go one day.
It's not a game that I bother with. Because it's platforms, isn't it? I don't do platforms.
See, I still have that nostalgia for them because I grew up with Mario 64, my Banjo-Kazooie, the good era of platformers. So a part of me is quite nostalgic for the old joys of them. And hey, so have you with your life in isolation? How's that treating you? Have you found yourself a little order of routine for every day, or
Pretty much. It's not a difficult thing for me. Part of me feels like I should be more affected by this, but I'm not. There are aspects, I've spent a lot of today coding podcasts, and there was the podcast when they closed the gym and me talking about the fact that they closed the gym and stuff. But I've now gone back to having my workout space at home. I've got a home gym to a certain degree, and I've found other ways to get other various types of exercise in. So it's not as big a deal as it maybe should be in that aspect. I left the house today and I actually did a bit of running, jogging, walking, that sort of stuff. But if it hadn't have been suggested to me to do that, I probably wouldn't have done. Because I had a load of podcasts that I needed to code. I've finally, after what seems like weeks, I've actually found a game that I'm not hating. Because I got into this real game funk where everything I put on, I just couldn't stand playing. You saying you're playing Devil May Cry 3. I put Devil May Cry 5 on, I don't know, 4 or 5 days ago. And I was like, I'm gonna play that. I loved it. I've already played it 3 times. Put it on.
Did it play through?
I hated every minute of it. I couldn't play it. I was just like, I can't play this. This is not the game for me right now. So like I say, if it was like, I'd said that I would go out for a walk today. I'd thought yesterday that I was going to take the baby out, just go out for a walk. But we ended up like play fighting on the sofa, and she was just absolutely loving it. So 40 minutes of that was our going out time done. So there are all these aspects of it's like, I should be more affected by this. But I've said on podcasts and I've said to people, I was conditioned to be able to deal with something like this from an early age. My summer holidays between the age of like 12 and 16, I was grounded for those years. So I was conditioned to, at the times that you want to be going out, at the times you want to be doing stuff, at the times that you should be spending time with people, your friends and all that, I was conditioned to not do those things and stay in the house. So it was kind of like 30 plus years ago, I was being prepared for this.
So the after school message to take from this podcast at the end is basically do more drugs as children, kids. Do the drugs when you're young, get in trouble for it, and you'll be ready for any amount of...
I mean, I didn't at that age, I wasn't getting in trouble for stuff like that. At that age, it was poor performance in school. It was like, as a 12-year-old, my one job was I had to produce a good school report so that I could be allowed to go out through the summer holidays. I wasn't able to do that. That wasn't something that was in my wheelhouse. It was... Yeah, I had various different struggles throughout school. It wasn't until I went to college was it discovered that I was quite heavily dyslexic. So school for me was a nightmare. And it was just summer holiday after summer holiday after summer holiday, or holidays in general, like what you get, 2 weeks at Easter and stuff like that. I was just in the house.
So I always thought I'd be like behaving with this. When it kicked off, I was like, nah, it'll be fine. I don't really leave my house that much anymore anyway. But it's actually the last 12 years of working and daily interaction with the same faces for 12 years on. Suddenly I realised my social meter is running low. I've started actually measuring my life like a sim. I can see my actual bladder need getting higher, my social need getting higher and everything else. And it really is just lingering at that red stage. My character's talking to the walls. It's a bit weird. And it's all from work. It's all that regular interaction. So I'm very grateful of doing these sort of things, and I'm doing a lot of these people from the office now anyway. I had a nice chat with Janet, Angie and Patty the other day on WhatsApp. One of the retirees.
Brilliant.
It's nice to see a familiar face and hear a familiar voice and things. Just a little comforting.
This is one of those things that there are people like you say, we work where we do, we spend our time, I always say the people you work with become a bit like your family in a certain way, because you see them more than you see your family. You see them more than you see your friends. You and I have a very similar social circle off the back of working where we do. There's that aspect of we don't see those people now. This is how we see people. We're encouraged to do that.
Every single person I've spoken to, I miss your face. I just miss your face.
Yeah.
It's just a fact of it. It's fine. I'll work my way through and socialise with a few more of them in between this, but yeah, it's just a bit strange. And I think the one Kaylee pointed out was actually just drinking. He's going, you're going to become an alcoholic at the end. I said, why? Because you never drink at home until recently. It's just, what else are you meant to do?
You just adapt though, don't you? You adapt to your given situation. So...
My situation is on a cupboard full of whiskey and people to talk to.
There you go, you see. You should never drink alone. So it's in a scenario where you...
This doesn't count.
Yeah.
It's technically with someone-ish.
I thought of you earlier today because I don't know how I'm going to be able to get this to work. If I do this...
Oh, you made yourself a delicate coffee.
So...
Nice.
So... this here is a cold brew coffee. This here is coffee mousse that is designed to go on top. How has it gone dark? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, no, I can still see that.
It's designed... I'm trying to angle it, but it's not making it... It's designed to go on top of cold coffee. So I made that I've been drinking cold brew coffee non-stop through this. The fact I'm drinking water now is because I drank that earlier. So it was basically like cold brew coffee, splash of milk, and then this coffee mousse stuff. But as I'm drinking it, I'm like, it's a bit strong, is this? Because all I could think was, so it's coffee with 2 essentially shots of coffee on top of it in like a thicker form. So I'm drinking coffee through coffee. So,
that does sound nice.
Oh, it was...
there was a dose of milk in there brewing it.
You need... It's a splash of milk for core with those bad boys. It was super...
I make my own form of a Guinness with that.
It was super nice. Yeah, you can do it that way. Because there's no milk in the mousse. The mousse is literally 2 spoons of coffee, 2 spoons of sugar, 2 spoons of water, and then you just mix it with a hand, like a whisk, until it turns into like foam, like a mousse. And then you just spoon it on top of the coffee. So...
okay. More like coffee foam.
Yeah, but I was drinking it like... Leon's like, how's your coffee? I'm like, it's a little strong.
It's alright.
It's a little strong.
I'm pretty good. What's wrong with your hand? No, just want to stop doing that.
Vibrating at the vibration of sound at that point. I was like, I did love this.
I'm going to say, that moment where you drink the whole thing turned into fried due drama.
That was all I could think. All I could think is that any minute the whole world was going to slow down to a complete standstill and I was going to be able to move faster than time.
Oh, I don't know. Boy.
So what you watching to get you through the lockdown?
Again, I've been learning through old things just because I keep most of the time when I'm doing anything I've got a series on. So I have trounced my way through Firefly, started watching Buffy.
Nice.
The end of the day before yesterday, and I'm season 3 or 4 into that now, so I'm halfway through Buffy already.
Wow.
I'm just going through familiar things. I might give Carnival Road a chance, the Amazon one.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what it. I know it's fantasy based. I know it's to do with mythology and critters and things. So it's right up my street. I just haven't given it a chance yet. Now seems like the right time. Got nothing else, so why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going through that. Kelly's been on a bit of a Louis Theroux binge.
All right.
So she watched that Lion King. No,
Tiger King. Yeah.
And actually, I saw a bit of that. It was weird. Fucking Americans, man. Fucking Americans.
Don't even get me started. I watched that not through choice, and
I feel we should caveat that. We don't mean all Americans, just those redneck hillbilly types.
Yeah, with no teeth.
Who kill their husbands and feed them to tigers.
Allegedly. They're doing another episode.
Yeah, which is all to do with her, basically, as an interview, wasn't it? They sort of pitched to her wanting to do an interview, not giving away that it was to do with that.
Well, she didn't...
So she
didn't know what the programme was about. She thought it was another version of Blackfish. She didn't know that the programme was about her supposedly killing her ex-husband.
Yeah.
Apparently she's not in the new episode.
Oh, that's a shame.
Ah, no.
It'd be nice to see her 2 cents on the matter. But yeah, at the end of that, Kaylee found out Louis Theroux had apparently done interviews with him before as well. So
he had, yeah.
She went, I forgot, I like Louis. And then went on a bit of a binge watching everything he's done for a while. So she's fully Theroux'd up to the eyeballs at the minute. So much so that when we were looking through the programme, I went through every single one of the things. She hadn't seen all of them. And those. Jesus. That's like, can't fault her. I think we're having a bit of a catch up on Family Guy at the minute.
All right.
We were just, it sort of dawned on me, I haven't paid any attention to Family Guy in a very long time.
Neither have I.
I think I'm a good season behind it now, so it seems like a good time again just to try and binge it out of the way. I haven't watched The Simpsons in a very long time either, so I should probably maybe give them a chance, but they were a bit shit from the last 2 seasons onwards, so.
Yeah, I mean...
15 seasons onwards, but that's not the point.
I didn't watch Family Guy for the same reason that I stopped watching The Simpsons. Family Guy became The Simpsons, having spent years slagging The Simpsons off, and The Simpsons was just... It should have ended a long time ago, is what I felt. And when you feel that, when a programme ends, you're like, oh man, I miss it, and that sort of stuff. That's one way to feel about something. The other way is, this should have ended by now. That's not a good thing for a programme.
You feel the same way about those scenarios. If it finishes too soon, you think, God, I missed that.
Yeah.
If it goes on too long, you think, God, I missed that. What it was.
What it used to be.
Not what it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know when The Simpsons got crap. I can't quite measure it in my head anymore.
To me, it feels like it could be 10 years ago. I remember watching The Simpsons at a point in time and saying that it was hands down one of the best things that humans had created. And then I feel like not long later, like a couple of years after that, I was like, I can't watch The Simpsons anymore. And that's how quickly it goes from being watchable and doable to not.
I think it's about the point they brought out the movie, is when the series went severely
I never saw the movie, so that would signify round about where I checked out. I stopped watching it before the movie had come out.
Mm. And the movie was fun. It was alright, but it wasn't... It felt like they were suddenly go, oh, we're a film. We can give ourselves a rating. We can do things. We better do them. Try too hard.
Every review I ever heard of the film was the same. It was like, it was okay, but it was lacking something. It was missing something. It was almost like it didn't feel like The Simpsons.
No. It felt like someone else was trying to make The Simpsons. Someone who had officially got the appropriate age rating to be able to push the barrier and went, great, we're going to have to make them do it then. No, just because you can doesn't mean you should. No, we're going to have to. No.
I've said that for a long time. Have you ever watched Titans?
As in the
Teen Titans? Yeah. It was on the DC streaming service originally, and then Netflix got hold of it as well.
Yeah, I saw the one that went onto Netflix. And I didn't care much for the beginning of it. I don't know much of the Teen Titans thing. I know there's the grey girl, an orange girl, a metal man, a green man, and Robin.
Raven, Starfire, Cyborg, Beast Boy, and Robin.
Yeah. And as far as I gathered, the show dabbled into all of those ideas, felt like it was rushing it. But right at the end of the Netflix one, it did a very good episode to do a darker history to do with the potential of what would happen to Batman based on Robin and things. And I thought, well, that was a good bit. They could have kept that going a bit longer. It would have been great to watch.
Yeah.
So I thought it had potential by the end of it. It was just sort of trying to rush in some concern for characters no one gave a shit about.
My feeling around that was just because you can swear doesn't mean you should swear.
Mm.
And it's like that sort of thing. It's like just because you can doesn't mean you should. Can work with a lot of things.
Mm. And unfortunately, that is a lot of the problems with a lot of programs now, is they get a rating and suddenly go, oh, well, we're going to have to deliver on that.
Yeah.
20 years of someone never swearing, suddenly saying fuck, makes you go, I didn't like that.
Yeah. It's weird.
Sometimes it makes you go, haha, it's funny.
Yeah.
But not very often. More often than not, it just makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's a weird concept. It's like, it's fine without it, and then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, that person swore. I don't think I like that.
You spend the whole of your secondary school education being taught by a teacher, and the first time you chat to them as an actual individual person in a pub outside of school and hear them use a swear word, it's like, oh.
You're not supposed to say that.
Reactions.
Yeah.
This information has blown my mind.
Very strange. I have, thanks to my sister, she's got Disney Plus.
Oh, yeah.
So she sent me a message the other day. She was like, "We've got Disney Plus." All right, cool. Do you want one of the logins? Yeah, go on then. I wouldn't mind watching The Mandalorian. So I've been watching The Mandalorian.
Nikki and Phil have been watching it. She says it's good. She says she's enjoying it. I said I don't think I need that much Star Wars fan service.
So I'll tell you this much. I am surprised, but it is actually quite good.
I've not heard anything bad about it.
No.
It just feels like a lot of fan service to me. The whole concept felt like overkill fan service.
If I'm honest, you were saying you were watching Firefly.
Yeah.
It feels like Jon Favreau sat down to watch Firefly and was then like, "Oh man, I need to write this Mandalorian series. Oh, I've got an idea." It feels very much like somebody watched Firefly and then wrote a series.
So I always liked Firefly because I felt it was quite original in its concept, the whole Western meets
Space Cowboys.
Western meets space. And Whedon did a very good job with that. And it had very much that tongue-in-cheek nature that Buffy had. It's a shame it never lasted more than a series. I don't know if Star Wars would benefit from it, because Star Wars has always had such a strong bloody fan basis. I can't imagine the fans love too much tongue-in-cheek nature.
It's interesting because it is quite comical in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, in a lot of places, it's quite funny. Which it's quite refreshing. For something that's got the Star Wars name on, to actually be able to laugh at it. Because at Star Wars, it is so very serious. And
Seth Green had a hand in producing a series a while back. They managed to achieve 39 episodes of it before it was actually pulled anyway, so it was never released and no one's ever seen them. When you're bored later, look up Star Wars Detours.
Alright.
It's animated piss take, basically to do with the mundane aspect of Star Wars. All of your favourable characters, every character you recognise in your head, from the singers in the cantina through to Jabba the Hutt, in their more mundane existence and day-to-day life, such as Vader doing his own recruitment video. So, come join the Empire, or what? Sort of things. And it was very good, actually. The trailer really, really sold it to me as an idea. There's a nice bit where Obi-Wan's doing stand-up, and he tells a terrible joke, and he just goes, "That joke was very funny, and you all liked it." Just little bad taste bits. And I'm really upset, actually, it didn't come to light. That looked great. It looked really entertaining.
It's one of those things, isn't it? That, obviously Seth Green does a lot with Robot Chicken, and a lot of it's Star Wars based, so I think they probably give him a pass on that one, but too much more might be a bit much.
It looks like it was agreed for production. They made it all, and then it was pulled at the last minute. So there is a full season's worth floating out there somewhere in the ether that is not allowed to be shown. I'm kind of hoping Disney Plus goes, "Oh, what's this? Blow the dust off it. No, let's put that on the streaming service. It'll be fine." And hopefully that might just appear out of nowhere.
Potentially.
No. I can't quite justify giving Disney more money in my head for a streaming service. I can't imagine they've got enough on there to make me want to pay that frequency of payment.
It's weird. So there's stuff on there that you forget that they even own. And then there's Family Guy, yeah. And then there's stuff on there that you're like, alright, yeah, that'll be useful, I don't have to pay X or whatever. Then there's stuff that isn't on there that you kind of like there to be. For example, I was talking about I'm going to do like a film series of watching, like, if a series has more than one movie. So, as an example, the John Wick films. John Wick 1, 2 and 3, watch them all, sort of thing. That sort of stuff. Well, that way you can incorporate like Marvel and things like that. If you just wanted to watch the Iron Mans, you wouldn't have to watch them necessarily in order of the way the phases go and stuff like that. You could watch all the Fast and the Furious films because there's 9 of them or whatever.
Yeah.
Go into a conversation about the X-Men films. It's like, there's a lot of X-Men films, you don't really, there's 1, 2 and 3, and then it branches off into the different timelines. So you've got
First Class and Dark Phoenix.
So, that was the conversation.
I feel like I'm missing one. First Class, Days of Future Past fixed the timeline.
What's the one? Apocalypse. I was about to say, what's the one that's got Apocalypse in?
Yeah, there's 7.
Yeah. So, I was like, oh, well, hang on a minute. I haven't seen Dark Phoenix because it had some of the worst reviews any film has ever had.
Yeah.
However, Disney Plus will have all of the X-Men films now. So, went on to Disney Plus, scrolling through, went through all the X-Men films, got all the Wolverines as well. So, all the Wolverine films. Went all the way through. No Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, it's got to be bad if Disney don't put the names right.
Apparently, having done a search on the internet, it suggests that it will be coming further down the line. It's just not on there currently. So the Disney Plus things, it's not quite there, is what I would say.
It's surprising. I mean, if you say they've got things like Fast and the Furious.
No, I was saying like certain types of film series that you could watch.
I thought they had that one. I was thinking,
no.
How did they get one?
No, but I'll tell you what they do have. They've got gargoyles. Gonna have to give that a whirl. Love gargoyles.
The actual TV series. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
That'd be terrible. Oh God, that'll feel so dated to watch.
Pretty sure Keith David does one of the voices in that.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Please tell me about the Street Sharks as well. That'd make my day.
I don't know. I haven't seen. I've only looked through certain sections.
As well.
I know that Sam and always kept going on about is it the Clone Wars cartoon?
Yeah.
So that's on there, and I think there's like 7 series of that. He always said that no matter what you think of like the Clone Wars, the cartoon's supposed to be very good.
The series was apparently pretty detailed and had a good amount of depth and good character design, and for once in your life you didn't hate Anakin and his detest of sand. You know, it wasn't bad apparently. I just never bothered watching it. But yeah,
No, I've never seen any.
These bad boys. They're going with Street Sharks or not, they might be too early for you.
I remember Street Sharks.
Oh, they were freaky things. Weird ass fucking legs with a fish head. Oh, weird. I may have to have a nosy at the old Disney Plus just to see what it offers, but all in all, it doesn't feel like it's enough. Disney doesn't. I know it owns a lot, but it doesn't feel like it owns enough.
It does own a lot, and it does own things that you'd be surprised they own, like National Geographic. So you can watch the new Jeff Goldblum TV series, The World According to Jeff Goldblum.
I bet it's super dramatic. With long
It's
pauses everywhere.
super over the top, from what I've seen.
It's really fun to watch that.
Unfortunately, it's one of those things that because somebody else has paid for it, I'll probably get in trouble from Disney for this, but because someone else has paid for it and I'm not paying for it, it's kind of useful to have, whilst at the same time highlighting that I probably wouldn't pay for it. Yeah. Me and the baby have been watching Moana in 10-minute segments because that's her limit for attention. So when she's a bit tired, I can get her to sit next to me, and we watch like 10 minutes of Moana, and she's never seen it before. But she sings along. She sings along to the songs. Never seen it before. She'll have heard the songs in the car when I put the soundtrack on for the other two. But she's never seen it. But when the songs start, she just starts singing like in her little babbly voice. Yeah. She's a weirdo.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough.
But I own Moana. So it's that, I can press a button and it appears on the TV. Or I could have put the disc in the DVD, in the Blu-ray player and pressed play. It's that kind of separation.
It's always been that bit of a tear between, I own the actual copy of this, therefore I don't feel bad about downloading a version of it. And there is a morality to that, because again, emulations and ROMs, there's a strict guideline on those. All the emulators basically caveat that you are only permitted to download and utilize ROMs you own physically.
Yeah.
And it's because owning the actual hard copy, you own the right to the content of that disc, which can come from anywhere, in theory. So if you ever play an old NES emulator or anything, theoretically, as long as you've got all of the original cartridges up in the loft somewhere, go nuts. Download one, put it on a computer and play it on full HD if you want. It'll look terrible, but you're legitimately, technically okay. It's a weird transition, and I feel it's probably the same with Moana. They can't really have a go at you for utilising someone else's access to watch things that you own the rights to watch.
But Disney give you 4 logins for Disney Plus. So my sister's like, I've got Disney Plus, we've got it signed in on our system, you can have one of the logins, you can watch it. So Disney are fine with you doing that.
In theory.
In theory. According to...
They allow it at the moment, but
that's what I said. At this point in time, they want to get as many people hooked on Disney Plus as possible. I don't think the login thing will last forever. I imagine they'll give it a year, and they'll reduce it down to 2 logins per person, and then they'll give it another year, and it'll be 1.
How much is the subscription at the moment?
Well, they were doing that thing where you could buy it for a year. Was it £60 for a year?
That's not bad. So, Netflix, I think, does the opening charge is about £7 a month, which wouldn't be far off the similar fee.
Yeah.
In a year's plan, it won't be too much more. And then they've got tiered methods, so your basic gets you just standard definition streaming.
Yeah.
And a simple login. Second tier gets you HD and 2 logins, and the third tier gets you up to 4K, where it's appropriate. So if they have 4K streaming on something, you can have it, and 4 logins across 4 devices, which is, again, it's pretty generous, but I don't want to pay for 4K. I genuinely don't see the benefit.
I don't even pay for the HD package.
I do. I do that one.
I just pay standard definition.
Yeah.
Because I'm not prepared to give them more money for something that's supposedly in high definition. Now, I would like to say that I haven't noticed any difference, and on 60 to 70% of the stuff I watch, I haven't seen any difference. But I have actually seen a difference on some things. Some things you put on and it's like, why does this look so bad? Why does it look so low quality? And it's that reason. It's because it's in standard definition.
Yeah, but try watching Buffy on it now with the HD uplifting. Oh, it looks really weird. I mean, the graininess of the television has just been sharpened. It's amazing. It's not done it any favours. But, yeah, I imagine Disney will probably do something similar. They'll tier their system, so everybody's paying for a basic thing. They'll figure out what people are wanting, what people need focus on. They'll use that to dominate and say, right, we'll do all of these in HD, and these are getting a lot of heavy hitters, so any of these sort of things get 4K. Introduce the tiers, and cut that package in half.
Ultimately, what they're going to do is they're going to remove their content from other services. So I think they're letting contracts run out, because the other thing my sister gave me was her Sky login. And when I was on there, I was like, look at all this Disney stuff that's still available through Sky that in theory you should only be able to get on Disney Plus. But from what I'm aware, they're going to pull all of their content from other services.
At the end of the day, they've signed an agreement over to X, Y, and Z to keep the service for a period. If they pull them, it costs them money. If they just let them run out, no loss. Yeah. They will do, but then how much stuff is really going to go missing? I mean, alright, anything Fox, anything Marvel, anything Disney.
Yeah. Pixar.
Pixar.
National Geographic, now.
You know what, I'm such a David Attenborough fan, that might hit me hard.
Well.
No. There's certain things that they own certain people might give a shit about, but I don't think anyone's going to think, I really want some National Geographic, I better go to Disney. Most people are going to go, where's that then? No idea where you find National Geographic. Oh well. It's in a magazine subscription. Better order a magazine then.
See, for me, I already know that at this point in time, I will watch The Mandalorian. There's one episode, they released an episode, I think yesterday, so we got episode 5 yesterday. The episode I really want to see is episode 6, because it's got loads of people. One of the things about these episodes so far is, like, some episodes have got, like, 2 actors listed in the credits. The guy that plays the Mandalorian. Oh, the second episode, at the end credits, it's the guy that plays the Mandalorian, which is that
No idea.
Pedro Pascal. He was in the second Kingsman film and various other things. And the other person listed was Nick Nolte. And that was it. Those are the only 2 names listed on the...
that name?
He's an old guy with a really gruff voice.
Okay.
He was the bad guy in the Ang Lee Incredible Hulk. He talks like that. He talks like that all the time. He always talks like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays like he's not even in it. He's essentially voicing an alien.
So they're not very... I again, I don't really know what the point of the series is. Was it just a bit of backstory on the bounty hunter race?
So I'm pretty sure the episode that I watched 2 episodes last night. The first of the 2 episodes, I'm pretty sure Boba Fett was in it. But in theory, and this is a big spoiler, so anybody that hasn't watched it might want to close their ears right now. In theory, this is set at a time when Boba Fett is technically... Because that was the other thing, I never knew which time period it was set in.
See, some people are telling me this is set between Empire and Return.
So this is set between Return and the new 3. So this is after the Empire has fallen. So the Empire doesn't exist anymore.
Which would tell me that Boba is...
But there's a shot, and it's one of those where you're like, well, every aspect of that person standing right there is Boba Fett. So, I don't know.
Lone child, standard uniform for the Mandalorian race's army. Who knows?
One of the really cool things.
It's not that.
Yeah. One of the really cool things about this series is there's like a forging element. So they get steel and they forge it like the way their system works is it's based on their armor. So if they do something good, they get a new piece of armor.
Right.
So yeah.
You did well, my son. Have a better arm cannon.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Okay. And you just see this process.
You what? Sorry.
And you just get to see this process of them forging.
Yeah, they actually show you the forging aspect of it. So he gets the armor's called Beskar, and he gets paid in Beskar steel for a job that he does. So he takes the steel and gives it to like this person who forges stuff, and they're like, "Oh, I'll forge you this piece of armor." But it's just an interesting concept.
I mean, it'd be a strange design piece, but, it'd be entertaining. Episode 1 opens with a naked man. Final episode of the series, man in full armour. There you go. We know how this ended.
I think the point is that his armour is quite battered and bruised at the start, and then he gets like a single new piece, and then, I don't want to spoil it, but there's in the first few episodes...
to become something new.
Yeah.
To become the legacy of his father or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just another interesting concept.
You see, I dislike the Baby Yoda thing because there's already been canons to the backtail of species for Yoda. It was only a glimpsed piece, but in episode 1 there is another Yoda character standing next to Yoda. So this whole, there's never been another Yoda sort of bugs me.
It's one of those things that I obviously don't want to spoil anything, although I've rattled off a load of stuff that's been in it so far, but...
No, but I don't think anything you're rattling off. I mean, giving us context of the time period instantly tells us Boba Fett is not in it, except maybe in a flashback. Outside of that, what else can you really spoil? Mandalorian was trained in armour. Fantastic. That still told me nothing about the story or about the fan service Baby Yoda.
I didn't realise how much the Baby Yoda thing was part of the series.
You see, I assumed it was just a little bit of fan service turned up in one episode. I didn't realise.
I also believed that was probably, I thought it would be something that appeared in one episode, a little cutesy kind of palate cleanser sort of thing, and that would be that. I was very much mistaken, let's put it that way.
I'll give it a go one day, but
I would say I know that you thoroughly enjoy the Star Wars universe. I would say
3 films, yeah.
I would say because of that, I would definitely give it a watch.
Yeah. I'm gonna take that back. So up until the last 2 films, I didn't really hate the first one. Episode 7 was fine. It was a complete rehash of the original, but it was fine. But episodes 8 and 9,
I have no time for it, which is why The Mandalorian was very sort of like, I was very interested to see it. It looked very interesting. It wasn't lightsabers. It wasn't this person's this person and that person. It was something completely different. And initially, when I first heard about it, I didn't care. It was only the more that I saw of it, I was like, do you know something? I might actually fancy giving that a try. And so far, I haven't been disappointed.
You see, I originally heard they were doing 3 standalone films. So there was Rogue One was the first. They were then going to do a standalone film for Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And a standalone film for Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And I couldn't quite fathom how a standalone film with Boba Fett could work. He's not that big a character. Who actually really gives a shit? And what's the point?
He's a fan favourite, isn't he?
Hey?
He's a fan favourite.
I don't know. I think they'd have done better off doing something to do with the bounty hunters as like a background series, which just did an episode per bounty hunter. Because you could have had a look at IK-88. You could have a look at the lizard thing, which I've forgotten his name. You know, they've been far more interesting and open possibilities to investigate some of the characters that you've seen but didn't know much about, as opposed to Boba Fett that's already been a bit trounced on as a concept by the episode 1, 2 and 3. Chucking in the clone thing.
Yeah.
Which is fine, I guess, if you're willing to accept it. But
Yeah.
Whereas something a bit more original, giving a fresh take as opposed to trying to justify a character we've already got established. Yeah, I feel they could have done better at actually looking at some of the other characters.
Like I
Something
say,
a bit more free reign.
I would certainly give The Mandalorian a try, if that's your opinion.
I'll have to give it an opinion one day just because I can't not. I'll have to give it a chance. But I won't hold too high hopes.
It's the best way to go into it. I mean, I was prepared. I'll always give something that I'm mildly interested in. I'll always give an episode. And then if I'm unsure, I'll give it another episode, maybe another couple. I've watched stuff where I've done that principle, where I've said, I'll give it a couple of episodes. And I've actually got so far and gone, do you know something? This isn't for me. I watched the series. I started the series Tin Star.
Never heard of it.
It's a series that stars Tim Roth, and he's a sheriff in a small town America, and loads of people had raved about it, and I was like, oh, I'm going to give this a try. And it was one of those where an episode would start and it'd show you like a flash of something, and I'd be like, I'll tell you exactly what this episode's about right here and now. And by the end of the episode, I was like, yeah, I was right. And it was like, I don't need to watch this because I know what's going to happen in each episode before it's happened. So I was like, other people like it, got a lot of good, I think there's quite a few series of it, a lot of people talk about how great it is. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
And that's the principle I'll give anything.
You see, I tend to give everything about a season as a minimum, just to give it a full chance, because some take time to develop or build. Breaking Bad is the only series of late that I've given up on.
Really?
I got to the end of season 2 and I didn't like Jesse. I didn't like what.
So that is exactly where I got up to. I got to the end of series 2 and I went, do you know something? I'm going to leave that there for now and I might come back to it. So I was watching it as it was coming out, sort of current stuff, and then I left it. And it was only when it finished and everybody was going absolutely ballistic about it, I was like, maybe I should go back to that, because I never did finish it. I started at the first episode of Series 3 and I binged it all the way to the end. So it's one of those, again, I would say, go back and try it again from Series 3, because I felt exactly the same.
On the guy's head and something to do with a turtle with a head on its back with a bomb in it, and And I just... No. Oh, God, no. I lost so much interest, and I didn't like Jesse, and I didn't like Walter, which makes it really hard to watch, because I really, really want both of them to just die.
But that's part of it. Part of it is that you're not solely supposed to like these people. They're not very likeable people. Walter especially. And as it goes through, you start off as a guy, you know, oh, you feel sorry for him, oh, he's, you know, like his position in life and stuff. By the end of it, he is very much the bad guy of the story. You know, the whole point is that he starts out as a mild-mannered science teacher and becomes...
Yeah, it's the development of characters that was the biggest thing about it, but it's just... I don't want him to win. I don't want him to live. I just kind of want him to die from the cancer.
Well,
which I know seems harsh, but
I would say go back to it.
That's another day.
Go back to it. You might be pleasantly surprised. Like I say, the point is that you're not supposed to overly like these people. Even the people that are like the quote unquote good guys, you're not supposed to like them either. There are characters in it that are designed very much around you learn to hate them. So
designed to fight.
Yeah, basically. Walter especially. Walter is very much a character that starts in a certain place, and his journey is truly the journey from normal bloke to the bad guy.
Yeah.
There's another character. I think he only comes into it maybe in the back end of the 4th series or partway through the 4th series, and then he's in it more in the 5th series, and he is just vile, like a proper character who you could truly just despise absolutely everything about them. It's just stuff like that. Characters that are just horrible people. It's very much it's sort of around that. I still say now, Breaking Bad is one of our greatest achievements as a human race, as a TV series. It is hands down one of the best TV series that was ever made. There's that, Sopranos.
Still never watched that.
Well worth it. I watched it again recently when I was on paternity leave. I was like, I need something I can watch, and I watched Sopranos. I never watched it originally. I bought a complete box set probably a little while after it had finished, and then watched it like that.
Yeah.
And then, like I say, when I was on paternity leave, I watched it again, and it's so well done. Such a good series.
It might be. I like lighter sci-fi crap than serious, hard-hitting, dark shit. I'll give a few of these a chance one day, but I need to really get myself to the idea that I'm invested in that.
Yeah, I mean...
Farscape I always go back to as a series, just because, again, it's not that serious. It was good. I enjoyed it. It's crap. It's the best things about them. It's not hard hitting. It's not interesting. It's probably not even very well done or original, but it's quite enjoyable rubbish.
And sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes all you need is something that you can sit and enjoy. It doesn't have to be Shakespeare. It doesn't have to be a masterpiece. It just has to be something you can enjoy.
Yeah, normally I can finally enjoying a character to some degree. It's not even that I have to like personality. It's that I like the character in their design, their features, the details, and this is where I fall with Breaking Bad. I just don't like Walter's anything. It's not that I don't like him as a person. It's not that I like him as a design. I just don't like anything about him in how they've designed him. And I don't like Jesse either. I just hate them both.
Like I say,
the case scenario is that changes. I start to like them, and then I'm a bit upset about the fact he gets shot in the face.
Give series. I can't say to it. Give series 3 a try. Just even if you have to go back and watch the last episode of series 2 to sort of remind yourself.
Season 1 and 2 from start to finish again now. I could do the whole of Breaking Bad. How many series is there? 6,
5.
7?
I believe it's just 5 series. The 5th series was split into 2 parts. It was really weird the way it was released. I will double check, but I believe
it's 5's enough to go on. Averaging 15 episodes a series.
So, 5 episodes. 5 series, 62 episodes. So the first series is 7.
How many episodes were there in Game of Thrones?
Oh wow, the last series is 16 episodes. The 4th is 13. So it's a bit of a mixed bag.
73 episodes in total in Game of Thrones, right? And there's 62.
62. Yeah.
Do in a week.
Yeah.
I can do it in a week. I did Game of Thrones in a week. I beat most of the actual fans of the final episode. I can do that in a week.
I still haven't bothered with Game of Thrones.
I really, really enjoyed it up until the last 2 seasons. And unfortunately, by about the 3rd or 4th season, I'd managed to guess how it was all going to end. Not person for person who lived, who died.
Mm.
Fair play. Some of those, that was a bit of a shame. But what actually happened at the end of it, called it, and I was really annoyed. Everybody had hyped this fucking series. Everybody had sung its praises and watching up to about the season 5 or 6 or so in it. And it was, living up to the reputation. It was twisty, it was turny, it was hard to predict, it was detailed. There were some great characters, some hateable characters, some lovable characters. Everything. And then in the last 2 seasons, they just went, you know what, all that hard work we've been doing, we've deserved it. We've earned a break. Let's cop out. And they really fucking did cop out. They rushed the last 2 seasons. Outside of that, very worth a watch. Very worth a watch.
I have a problem with hype. Whenever something is hyped to the max, I instantly lose any interest in it because
No matter how much you try, it's never going to meet the expectation that's set in your head.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
I will give you exactly that. It's a very entertaining series. It was good. It fell so short at the end.
all I ever know about that was even like the biggest fans of that show would be like, oh man, it's great, it's brilliant. I mean, not all the time, but when it's good, it's really good. But it's not always good. It's like, that sounds not fun. I always found like people's description, people who were like really into it, their description of it as a program wasn't always brilliant.
You see, I felt everything they did in it up until the end was pretty good. Let's say the last 2 seasons where it fell down. They put good groundwork in, some interesting characters, wonderful dynamics, really built on the actual ecology and dynamics of the environment and everybody in it and the cultures. They did a really, really good job with it. They just really, really didn't care at the end of it and copped out massively. And I've never felt quite so robbed as wasting a week to watch this whole series, to watch the end of it, and just think, fuck. Just fuck. I got up at 1:30 in the morning, found a stream of it and watched it online. I beat most of the hardcore fans and I did it in a week to the ending. I sent a few of them a message going, FYI, seen it, you'll hate it. Just to really annoy them. And most of them had told me I was a bastard the next day, and work was like, you still not seen it, have you? No, I'm not talent. I got up especially for this. What's your excuse? As I left for work in the morning, I went through to the other room, just lent in, kissed Kayla on the boy, woke up and I'm going, I'm off to work now, see you later. By the way, you'll hate it. And left. He's like, you bastard. But yeah, up until the end, it's a very entertaining series. It was really well well designed, good, well thought out structures, everything a good series is meant to have. It's not for everyone. It's got some crap in it that people won't enjoy, but personally, it met everything I'd like in the series up until actually having a decent ending. The point where you want the, I don't know what I'd even want as the ending. I just knew what I didn't want, and unfortunately, what I didn't want is what I predicted would happen. Nailed it. And it annoyed the shit out of me because it seems like such a cop-out. I thought, what's the one thing they could do to ruin this? Oh, if they all become this and this happens, then it will really, really let down. And lo and behold, that's exactly what they fucking did. Just annoyed me. So yeah, take it as an underwhelming ending. Design work up until that, very enjoyable.
I mean, this is the thing, the biggest thing for me is that I always said the day it finished would be the day I would start it because of all the hype. I need the hype to not be a thing so that I can sit down and watch it and enjoy it for what it is. But that...
The world started crying and weeping about how fucking terrible it was. And you said that, well, there goes the hype then.
Yeah, so the hype didn't even last till the end. What it turned into was people going, this is shit. It's like, all right, that sounds like a great thing to sit down and watch. And it's very much fallen into a category of, I might never see it.
Yeah, and I'm not going to tell you have to. I don't know if it's in the same league as Breaking Bad for quality of design work, but I'm not invested in Breaking Bad yet. I'll have to give it a chance one day.
The one thing I can say is, everybody says the same thing about a long-running TV series. You can never please everyone. You are never going to be in a position where people are happy. They talk long and hard about...
Piss off every single one of the fan base.
Yeah.
And that was impressive.
Going back to Sopranos, the last episode and the way the end of the last episode happens, people criticise, nobody was happy, all this, that and the other. If you actually sit down and watch it, if you've watched the whole series, because the way these things work is that you have a gap. You have series 1, then a break. Series 2, then a break. The way I watched it was, I had a box set. I had every episode available to me. I watched episode 1 to the last episode. And the one thing that I noticed watching it to the end, yes, you have a question. You have questions at the end. What are these questions? It leaves a lot to interpretation. But it was the best way, in a lot of ways, to end that series.
Yeah.
That was that. Breaking Bad does this thing where it's like knowing that you're not going to please everyone means that you can forego trying to please everyone.
Yeah.
The last episode of Breaking Bad has one of the single most amazing pieces of, I would call it cinema, even though it's a TV show. The way it works on the principle that a scene is filmed from a particular angle. Somebody's sat at a table, they're on the phone. They're talking on the phone, they're talking about one of the characters. Talk. It's one of those where you can obviously hear the person on the phone and then they have what the other person's saying coming through. So they're on the phone. They put the phone down and the camera just does that. And when the camera moved a degree, it was just mind-blowing. And just that simple piece, the way it was filmed, the way it was set up, the way it was done, that alone, that wasn't even the end. That was just part of the episode. Just a simple turn of the camera, so many degrees. Mind-blowing. And that's what Breaking Bad did so well. What it did so well was small, simple things that were just off the charts. It was just... I was the same as you. I watched the first 2 series, and by the end of the second series, I was like, I'm going to leave this for a while. And then typically, and I'm not saying this because of where you are, typically Breaking Bad gets good from series 3 onwards. It's that sort of like the rise and the fall is sort of, obviously if you think about it, it's 5 series. So series 3 is the middle.
I've had a few people tell me it gets better through season 3. I was like, well, that's convenient, isn't it? I'll have to just give it a chance. I'll have to just commit.
Series 3 must be when Gus comes into it. Because he won't have been
Gus? Who's Gus? Was he police or non-police?
He owns a chicken restaurant. He owns a fried chicken restaurant.
No, I've not met a Gus.
Yeah. So
A fried chicken place.
Gus, I think his name's Gus Fring. Just alone for him as a character. Things like that. Like, there are certain characters that make that entire series that by the end of series 2 aren't even in it. But they're like keystone characters. I'm pretty sure series 3 is all centred around this character, Gus.
I'll have to give it a chance. As I say, just to give it a go. I could do with finishing The Walking Dead. I watched that all the way up until the point that Negan was about to hit someone and we didn't know who. I have since found out who that was because I couldn't avoid that fucking spoiler from the internet. Thank you, world. But unfortunately, I waited so long for that to turn up, to wait for the rest of it to turn up. I just lost all interest so quickly. You know what? I don't give a shit. I
pulled the ripcord on The Walking Dead a lot sooner than that. I think.
I quite enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed watching the transition of the characters from the good guys surviving, trying to do the right thing, over into this sort of. Actually, they're not really the good guys anymore, are they? They're kind of doing what the other ones did. They've turned, and it's gradual and it's subtle, and it was quite nice actually. But I don't know if it got better or worse from that. And about that point was where I stopped because Negan with his baseball bat with wire and a tiger apparently was in it somewhere.
I never got up to Negan.
Yeah, it's just fucking too much for me then. And I hated waiting. By the time it actually turned up, I didn't care anymore. I just didn't care.
That's why I like picking up stuff when it's finished. Because you don't have to wait that way.
I usually do.
I
think it's about the only series I picked up while it was still running. And I managed to commit to it and wait, but yeah, it just drowned it. And again, it didn't help that I didn't like the kid. And I really wanted the kid to die.
Oh,
and
God, yeah.
Almost died so many times, and I was so optimistic that he'd die, and he didn't die. God, I hate that kid.
Yeah. Whiny little bitch.
Rest of the world. Daryl, if Daryl died, we riot. I agreed with that. I like Daryl. Daryl was nice.
There's a joke in Jay and Silent Bob reboot. They go to a Comic-Con convention thing, and Robert Kirkman's there, and somebody asks him how The Walking Dead ends, and he's like, Carol eats Daryl. And the guy's like, what? Like, yep. He's like, really? He's like, I'm sorry, I don't know. What was the question? I wasn't really listening. And then somebody just bursts in and sort of takes away from it, but that's like the Walking Dead bit that's in that film.
What's that in, Luke? Jay and Silent Bob?
Reboot.
Is that out?
Yeah.
Oh, right, I haven't seen that yet. Any good?
Yeah. I was quite looking forward to it. I'd seen sort of a lot about it. Obviously, I follow a lot of Kevin Smith stuff anyway, so I was...
No, I'm a fan of Kevin Smith's work.
Yeah.
He's good.
The first... If you split that film into thirds, the first 2/3 of it, absolutely bang on, nailed on. The third part, like the last, like the back end of it was a bit... I know I'm fully aware of what this will sound like, but it was a little bit far-fetched. It was a bit...
You mean like breaking into a Hollywood studio with a monkey and bursting onto a film set with a series of female lesbian bank robbers and Sean William Scott as a sheepfucker?
Yeah, I mean, when you say it like that, Jay and Silent Bob reboot is identical. It's basically what happens in this one.
Is that dry cough again?
I know. And my drink is nearly empty. It must be a sign.
Because I always liked Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back just because it was crap.
Yeah.
It was deliberately crap and it was entertainingly crap. It didn't try to be better than it was. It was just crap.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Absolutely.
They got a good all-star cast chucked in there for fun of it, you know, between Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher.
Yep.
They were both in there just for shits and giggles. Chris Rock.
Yep.
All of them. Just chipping in to help out. Kevin Smith was like, that's nice of you.
And basically, that's exactly the same for Reboot.
How many good names have you got in it then?
Oh,
Actually curious.
gee. Chris Helmsworth's in it at one point.
Oh dear.
There are so many cameos in the film. Like, ridiculous. Like, the whole film is just centred around people that Kevin Smith could convince to be in a movie.
Fair play.
There's a bit where...
I think that's the appeal of it though.
Yeah, there's a lot of that element around it.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can quickly find a cast list. Let's have a look. Oh, I'm still on Breaking Bad. Ben Affleck's in it.
Of course. And Matt Damon should be in there somewhere.
Matt Damon is in it. It's interesting the character that Matt Damon plays.
Please tell me he's playing Ben Affleck.
Not quite.
Deirdre Bader's back in it.
Jason Biggs.
Playing the security guard again.
Yep. All the guys from Clerks are in it. Tommy Chong. Rosario Dawson. Shannon Elizabeth. Ralph Garman's in it.
Who?
It's a guy that he does a podcast with. Chris Helmsworth, Chris Jericho, Val Kilmer, Robert Kirkman, Jason Lee, Justin Long.
Yeah, I'm flicking through the names and faces now.
Yeah.
Val Kilmer.
Yeah, he doesn't have a speaking part.
He's just Reboot Blunt Man in the background, is he?
Yeah.
There he is, Jason Lee. Justin Long. I know his face.
He's great in it.
I hate to say it, have you ever seen a film with him you didn't quite like it?
No. I think he's fantastic in pretty much everything he ever does.
Good Day to Die Hard?
Yeah. Have you ever seen Tusk? Have you ever seen Tusk?
Tusk?
Yeah.
No.
I imagine Tusk is right up your street. You cannot find a more batshit mental film than Tusk. It's a Kevin Smith movie as well.
Tusk. T-U-S-K.
Oh, yes.
2014.
Mm-hmm.
Is this kind of like Horns?
No.
A US podcaster, just not right, actually, I'll read it out for the podcast.
I was going to say, read it out for the people, Edward.
Hey?
Read it out for the people.
So, a US podcaster, played by Justin Long, ventures into the Canadian wilderness to interview an old man, Michael Parks, who has an extraordinary past, and the American learns the man has a dark secret involving a walrus. I mean, that does beg question. I mean, with wonderful film ratings such as 45% on Rotten Tomatoes and 5.3 on IMDb, it's definitely going to be one of those niche films I'll enjoy. But,
yeah.
Not quite convinced I'm going to love it.
I don't want to spoil it for you, but Justin Long gets turned into a walrus.
Is this kind of like a weird interpretation of like Thingy's Island?
The Island of Dr. Moreau.
Thank you. Like a weird interpretation of that.
It's part misery in a lot of ways. Yep, there it is. There he is.
Yeah.
Look at him.
There's a wonderful.
Look how beautiful he looks there.
Oh, it's just magnificent.
Apparently it used to take, as you can imagine, it used to take so long to get him in and out of the makeup. They used to just leave him. So they'd leave him on set in the makeup and everyone would like go off for lunch and they'd just leave him there because they couldn't do anything with him. And people would be like, are you alright?
Bloody hell, he's got a hidden Joel Osmond in it.
It does. It does, and he's a very interesting character in it.
Just for the fact he's got... I mean, I can't think of a weirder fucking Jesus.
Have you watched The Boys?
That fucking face, man. Look at him now.
Yeah. Have you seen The Boys?
God. Oh, Jesus. I mean, why?
Because Haley Joel Osment is in The Boys.
The Boys?
Yeah, Amazon TV series about superheroes.
Okay, no, not seen that one
But
yet.
the superheroes are the bad guys.
Yeah, The Boys. Amazon original. Didn't know he was in that.
That would also be very much up your street.
It sounds a bit of a giggle, that one. Corrupt superheroes and vigilantes taking them on instead. Yeah.
It is top-notch TV, that was
It's what Batman vs Superman should have been.
That was my TV show of 2019. I rated it on a 2019 podcast. I said The Boys was definitely the TV show of 2019. It was superb.
See, I'm still waiting for the next X-Men film.
I mean,
it's been offset 3 times now.
What, New Mutants?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like X-Men, but a bit more horror. Oh.
Yeah, it's dark. It's done as a dark take on the superhero genre. It's also done as part horror as well.
And I was really looking forward to that, just because that's a new take on things. They can't butcher what's already been changed and things. That's got to be a good chance. Ever since Wolverine, right, I was looking forward to that because I thought, you know what, if I managed to get something right with Wolverine and the casting and the story and making it just the right amount of violent, I have high hopes for this dark X-Men thing. And then they've offset it. And then they offset it again. Four times. I thought it was only 3. I don't know when or if it's ever going to turn up. I'm kind of hoping it gives the little lass from Game of Thrones a chance to prove she can act to me, because I'm not convinced of it. She turned up in Doctor Who, didn't like her in that either. Wasn't a massive fan of her in Game of Thrones, but she existed through it. I quite like to give her a chance because the world seems to think she can do something, but personally I think she acts with her eyebrows and I hate her face. With an absolute passion. Oh, she's atrocious. What's her fucking name? I can't remember her name. Bloody awful looking person.
Is she the one that's recently done an advert for Audi?
I have no idea. Hang on. There she is. There's the funny face little fucking weirdo.
I mean...
Maisie Williams.
Means nothing to me.
Yeah, she's just a pair of eyebrows on her face. I mean, seriously, look at them slugs.
Yeah.
Just... I'm sure she's a lovely person, but fuck her face. Did you watch Doctor Who?
No.
It's a shame. In Doctor Who, she plays a character called Me, and she's still terrible. She's just awful. Just terrible. Absolutely abysmal. I'll be honest, I wasn't much of a fan of the other lass who played played the new Jean Grey in the X-Men's. I'm not really a fan of her as an actress either.
I'm not.
She lacks any sort of innate facial expression. She doesn't do anything. She just has the same face throughout everything, and she's boring and...
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan.
It's a bit disappointing, because again, Jean Grey's like one of those iconic characters from the X-Men series. You should have picked someone with character and personality. Preferably a good one. It's the big problem they have is casting people for iconic roles these days. The best example is still Beauty and the Beast remake. Casting Watson as Belle. No.
I mean, if you think about it, the only one that's come out of the Harry Potter franchise with any sort of merit was weirdly the one that everybody predicted wouldn't do anything, which was freaking Radders. He's in a movie a week these days.
I've not seen him in many things.
He does a lot of indie movies.
Oh, right.
But
I'm told he's very good in Horns. I think I need to watch Horns.
So that is a really interesting film. It's basically two films. One is this really emotional, really interesting love story of like these two people, and they're deeply, desperately in love, but then for some reason they're not, and you don't know why and all this. The other aspect is a guy who is turning into basically the devil. And they do like this thing with these two stories where they just do this and they just keep pushing them together. But they're so completely different that they never quite go together. So you're sitting there going, this is fucking brilliant. Like when he's growing horns out of his head, and like whenever he talks to people, they just tell him their like sickest, deepest desires. That stuff's fucking brilliant. And then it flips to, oh, we're so deeply in love. Oh, I love you so much. Oh, everything's so great. I love it. And you're like, I don't care. And then it goes back to him growing massive horns out of his head. And you're like, this is fucking brilliant. I love this. This is great. Oh, but we're so in love. It's like, it's just that through the whole film. Definitely worth a watch.
I tried it and I just couldn't quite invest for some reason. I sort of assumed that the whole horns thing was basically a representation of his own feeling of guilt and around whatever happened to that person, because the world seemed to be blaming him for it. And it was a representation, as I say, of his own demonisation.
So
and
that's...
the world's actual demonising of him. But what you're saying, if I pay more attention and watch it properly, is actually it's more literal than it is figurative.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be, the way it's supposed to be set is that it's supposed to be like he's racked with guilt because he's done this thing that everybody's blaming him for. In actual fact, the reason that he's changing, the reason he's transforming, is for a different reason. One that becomes more apparent as he gets these various different sort of abilities. He like people reveal themselves more and more to him, their inner feelings. Like there'll be the point where his mother sits down with him and she's like, I never really liked you. You know, you're not your brother, are you? And it's that sort of stuff. And like the conversation that he has with his father, because he basically goes home at one point and his mother's like telling him that she doesn't really like him. The conversation he has with his father is so much darker than that, because he'll tell him the truth, the absolute truth. And it's those aspects of the film that's really good, but it's sandwiched together with this weird love story, because it's supposed to be this like these two people and they're truly in love and they're going to be together forever, and then all of a sudden they're not. And it's just, like I say, like everything I've said to you this evening, go back and give it a chance, because it's a film that I watched.
I fully intended to when I watched it. I fully intended to actually watch it, but I got so far through. I think they were falling asleep at the base of a tree, and I got distracted.
Yeah,
and lost interest.
it's so weird. Like the love story stuff, it really turns you off the film, but it is also necessary for the rest of it.
Okay. I'll give it a full chance at some stage. But yeah.
Interestingly enough, that book, the book that the film's based on, is written by Stephen King's son.
Yeah.
But he used a pseudonym to write under, a pen name, because he didn't want people to know he was Stephen King's son.
If the world had gone and Stephen King's son wrote a book, they would have been instantly comparing it.
Exactly. It was only after it came out and people had actually read it and gone, oh, it's really interesting. And then, like the movie deal and stuff, was it then announced who had actually written it?
Yeah, so I don't hear of Radcliffe being in that many things these days.
He
ruined the Woman in Black for me.
Never saw it.
It's because he was too young for it.
He's due to be in a film, which obviously release schedules are very whatever at the moment. But how quickly can I get it to come? There he is. What the hell is that film called? Because it's got Guns Akimbo.
Hang on. Guns Akimbo.
Guns Akimbo.
Right, hang on.
It said it was 2019.
It was?
But I don't think it's actually had a release yet.
Oh, they're like stuck to his arms. You can't put the guns down. I can see that from the pictures, right?
Yeah.
6.3. A guy relies on his newly acquired gladiator skills to save his ex-girlfriend from kidnappers. I mean, it sounds like a winner. Straight off.
It looked great. There's no mention of it actually having a release, so I don't. It had managed to get at least 2 trailers, and it looked brilliant because he just spends his entire time in like boxer shorts and a dressing gown with 2 guns. Yeah.
And boots.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, the tools are not selling it to me. Gotta be honest. His pasty ass legs are not really convincing me of a good watch, but yeah. I imagine it's kind of like Hardcore Henry.
Yeah, that was the... Yeah. Have you ever heard of a film called Series 7?
No.
When I saw the trailer for Guns Akimbo, it reminded me of Series 7. It's like a... It works on the principle that people are bored of TV and they need something more, and it's a game show where the objective is to kill the other contestants. It seemed...
so it is then.
Yeah, it seemed very much like that.
Have you actually watched Hardcore Henry?
I have, actually. It was a film that I was really interested to see before it came out. Like, all the trailers and stuff made it look really good.
First person's perspective.
Yeah. Then it came out, and it had terrible reviews. And I was like, oh, that was a shame. I thought it was going to be good. I actually watched it and thought it was quite good.
So I enjoyed it because it made me think of like playing a Metal Gear game. It just got gradually more batshit fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, the bad guy had magic powers and things like, the fuck is going on? It was just really, really enjoyable. For
I like the fact that it had the guy from District 9 in as like a multitude of different characters.
Multiple personalities, all playing one person in a chair who couldn't move, and he's just all the other ones dropping dead at random. It's like, this is fucking great.
Yeah, it was bonkers.
I really enjoyed it.
Again, sometimes you just need something that's a bit batshit mental to sit down and just lose yourself in.
Wasn't a quality film, but definitely entertaining.
It was
the
worth
one
it.
that surprised me with Harry Potter's, going back to that anyway, it was Ronald. Because he was the better actor of the 3 of them at that point.
Yeah.
And yet, I've actually seen him in one film since the Harry Potters came out.
I saw that he'd done a film, and then the only other thing that I saw that he'd done was the Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels TV series.
Oh, right.
But I never saw anything of it.
I didn't. I saw one that was called Wild Target, I think, with Bill Nye. It's quite entertaining, actually. It's a bit piss-taking. I think it was called Wild Target. Hang on. I'm checking. Yeah, there it is, Wild Target. So, we'll give you the spiel. So, a hitman tries to retire, but a beautiful thief may change his plans. That is basically the synopsis it gives. But that had Bill Nye, Emily Blunt, and Rupert Grint as the main characters. Rupert Everett, I think, was the bad guy. Has Martin Freeman in it.
All right.
It was relatively well cast.
It's a reasonable cast.
Funny, amusing. But it wasn't a quality film he was ever going to win an award for or anything. I haven't really heard of him doing anything since. It's a shame because I felt he was the one who might actually have some chance. But I'm pleased Radcliffe's managed to defy us all and do something.
Yeah, like I say, he does a lot of indie movies. There was that Swiss Army Man that looked like it might be quite entertaining.
That's the one where he's basically like a dead body.
Yeah, he's a dead body, yeah.
Yeah. And I can't remember, again, I kind of wondered whether or not he talks during that film as a corpse, or if he's just, like, literally, is that his one part, is he just have to lie there?
I think the guy imagines that he talks, and that means that he does talk. But I don't know. I haven't seen it.
No, someone else has mentioned that one to me at least. It might have been you on the previous one of these, I don't know.
Possibly.
I'll have to give all these a chance and actually go find some new things to watch at some stage.
Well, I keep talking about doing a watch-along podcast.
A what?
A watch-along. Everybody gets the same film, sticks it on at the same time, you run this, and basically you have it running and you watch the movie, but then like comment on it as it goes through. You need a film that everyone's seen like loads, so that you don't feel like you're missing it.
No, I think you'd also need to do it with a pair of headphones of some sort on, so the noise of the film people are watching don't intrude too much on the video.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we could do that. Not quite sure how, but I'm sure we could sort that.
Something you can try.
Film, something classic, something good. Don't let Sam pick it.
God.
The big something classic, but not good.
I need to check in on Sam actually. I sent him a picture today and I've heard nothing back from him, but it's a bit early for Sam. It's only 10 o'clock.
He's probably not out of bed yet.
Yeah, nothing from Sam just yet.
He'll be fine. I believe, James Bonas is still in the house.
Still in the house.
He's still in the house. So, House Party obviously kicked off a bit of a stir with this whole COVID thing, people in lockdown. So, an app that has been running for years, and I mean, it's been an up and running thing for a very long time. COVID kicks off, the world suddenly goes, this is great, we can keep in touch with our family, and suddenly a little spark of rumour turns up that it's dangerous. I'm not convinced. I think it's bollocks. I think someone has either started this for the laugh of it, or a competitor has spread this to try and kill them, because actually it's the most convenient, it's the easiest one, it's got games, and there's no fucking fee.
I think it was people were struggling to get connected at the point that everybody was using it, and somebody spread the rumour to get people to not use it so they could get a better connection.
No, that might be a good idea. I mean, it's a bit drastic for an internet troll to spread that just so he can talk to his family. But I quite like the idea. But yeah, so I've kept it on, and I've still got it. And I've not lost any money from my account. So I'm quite happy to say at the moment that I think the House Party is fraudulent thing is bollocks. I can't say it's gospel. But again, House Party is willing to pay £1 million to the first person that proves it's conspiracy bollocks. Is pretty good. I like that. So yeah, and chatting away to him, he's like, no, I took it off. I heard all these rumours I was worried about it, so I took it off. And suddenly on my phone started pinging and say, James Bonas is in the house. I was like, he caved. Problem is, it's between Skype, WhatsApp, House Party, and now Zoom. I've got 4 different ways of talking to people.
Plenty of ways to keep in touch.
Yeah, I know, but why can't we just have one? What's wrong with WhatsApp?
I don't know. I don't know how I would record the video without using a camera. Although
you would have to record your computer screen, link your WhatsApp to your computer, and do it off your computer.
Sounds pretty complicated. Sounds complicated.
Zoom works well.
I've had good results with Zoom.
Eh?
I've had good results with Zoom, especially from a podcasting perspective. It records the video for me, so.
Yeah, that is very good. I think Skype for Business will do the same for you. Or, well, Skype at least.
I'm sure. I have a feeling I looked into something to do with Skype, and the version you get won't allow you to record unless you pay for it.
Ah, right, so it will be the Skype for Business specifically
I
version.
think so, yeah.
If you're paying for Microsoft Office subscription, you won't get the record feature.
Yeah.
It's fair enough.
I guess.
I mean, on the same page, Zoom won't let you have more than 3 people, is it?
I've done 4.
Yeah, it told me that you can have 40 minutes on a conference with 3 or more people. So I think there's limitations.
Now,
you can work on it.
we did one, and it came up. It gave me a message saying, because you're a new user, we're going to allow you to go over the 40-minute allowance. And then on the second one, I got a message at the start saying we've removed the 40-minute allowance for this video call. So it might be limited to people. I've had nothing come up here, and we've been going for nearly 2 hours. So
no, mine told me it was something to do with 3+ people.
That might be it then.
Which is, again, usually enough time for most people to have that conversation.
Yeah.
But, yeah. It's a tough sell, really. I mean, every single video platform at the moment is probably going through the roof in downloads and usage between Google, Duo, WhatsApp, Facebook Messengers, all of the varying in-betweens. Yeah, pick one you like for your purpose. We can all download them. This one wasn't even invasive to set up. It was a question.
Yeah, it's fairly easy.
Yeah, it literally just asked me for an email and a password. I was done.
Yeah. It's different. If you want to host, it's a different setup. You have to give them more information to actually host something.
Yeah.
But if you want to join like for you, when you join this, it literally gives us your email address and set a password, and that's it.
Yeah, at the end it did say, if you want to add people, I go on there. He said, can we have your mobile number? I gave him the mobile, and no names turned up. I was like, okay, I haven't done that then.
Yeah.
Which means I either did it wrong, or nobody's using Zoom yet that I'm aware of. Or they haven't added the mobile numbers. I don't know. I'll just smile and nod.
I don't know about that one.
Well, I wasn't sure if it was asking for my mobile number or the number of the person I wanted to add, so I just put mine in. No idea.
Don't know.
Not a clue. I smile. I nod. I'll leave it with my mobile, assuming that's right. Even at least that way, hopefully, it means other people
can find you. Yeah.
Smile and nod. WhatsApp's been the most reliable for just for convenience.
Yeah, we had that video call. Was it last weekend? Was it last weekend? Was it a while ago?
Yeah. It was last weekend. I think we did Friday night. But yeah, it works. It lets up to 4 people join on the mobile app. That'll do. Don't need that many more of us.
No, it worked pretty well.
Another chance when there's a group in there that I still haven't quite figured out the social dynamic of that one. It confuses and upsets me. I get buzzes on my phone saying people are in the house. I can't. I'm like, does that mean I should join them? Should I go and video with these? Or, no, I'll just leave it.
Don't know.
Because I don't quite get it.
No, I don't.
Tracy, I think, waved at me on it once. I don't think she knew what she was doing, but she waved, and my phone whistled at me in such an invasive fucking noise. Jeez, it gave me an absolute heart attack. Fucking hell, what was that? Looked at her, and Tracy said hello. I was like, that wasn't a fucking hello, that was a slap to the face. But yeah, I went through to her, she goes, I don't know what I did. I went, I don't know what you bloody did, but it hurt my ears. Ended up playing Pictionary with them most of the night. It was quite comfy. It was nice. Quite like that feature, actually. I like the games. It's simple pleasure, but it's enjoyable. I really need to have a go at playing Heads Up on it, just because I think that would be a laugh. I get it. I don't know who's... I don't know which phone records the Heads Up gameplay. Because I think that's one of my favourite features of Heads Up, is the fact it records people looking like tossers trying to do it. Oh, so satisfying. But yeah.
I've not tried it.
Have you not given into House Party at all?
I did. I was like the first day that everybody was getting it and everybody was going on it, and I did some of the games and stuff.
Heads Up is a standalone app.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Heads Up without the video thing. And the idea is you play in a group, and the person who's on holds the phone on the forehead. But the whole time you have it here, your front-facing camera is recording your friends and what they're doing. So if you play the game with mining, for example, and you have animals, and you've got a whole procession of people jumping like tossers for kangaroo, or putting fucking fingers up for bull, or whatever the hell else, and you get to keep that video of them looking like wankers. I've got some great videos from playing Heads Up on the phone. But yeah, doing it over the House Party, obviously, I don't think it'll record, because I don't think House Party does that. House Party doesn't seem to have an option to record that I'm aware of.
I'm not sure.
It didn't do them when we first poked about with it.
No.
But yeah, as a game, Heads Up's very entertaining. Play with Liam one night. See what I mean? It's a giggle. The girls would enjoy it, I think, because, they're active, they're young, they're interested in these things. They'll have a great time.
I'll give it a try.
As I say. I do it with charades, personally. I always find charades more fun. Charades is greatly entertaining, especially when it's something stupid like accents. Yeah. Try and act out an accent, it's very unfortunate. You get so many stereotypes, it's cruel.
Have you got big plans for your Easter Sunday?
No. Oddly enough. I got my ironing done today, got that pile finished. It's all on the dining room table at the moment. I still need to bring it up and put it away. I might do that tomorrow morning before I do anything else, but in the meantime of that, I'll probably just bring the laptop up, poke, prod, and play about on that. Finish DMC3. If I thoroughly enjoy DMC3 just for a piss about, I might put Devil May Cry 4 back on and relive that one as well. But as I did give into the Jurassic World Evolution thing.
Yeah.
So I finish that off and have a bit of a play at world building again. Because I do enjoy a good simplified build your own thing. I gave into both of their other ones. So they do a thing called Planet Coaster, which is like the roller coaster tycoon of old. But it's so updated with so many modern functionalities. It's bloody elaborate. I mean, it goes from, you don't just buy a ride, you build the whole ride's track step by step. But if you do it badly, they won't accept it because it's too scary, or it's not scary enough, or it's too tame, or it'll kill customers because of the loops you put in it and things. It's very, very elaborate.
No, I'm good, thanks.
I love the idea of it, but I've tried to play it so many times now, and I just can't seem to motivate to it because it's just so fucking complicated. Because outside of that, you've then got to manage the actual staff. And it's not just hiring them, it's making sure they're comfortable. And then you've got to actually design the place. And again, every ride is not quite as straightforward. You've also got the decoration, picking appropriate decorations to fit with the theme that you've chosen for your park. Jesus Christ, just give me a box that's called Pirates and I'll be fine.
Nah, not for me.
In concept, it's a great idea. In design, it's far too fucking complicated for most people. And I also gave into their Planet Zoo. And their Planet Zoo is beautiful. As a theme park type game, it's really well animated. But again, it's the same problem. Fucking elaborate. Between the breeding of the species, the buying of the species, the building the habitat to be appropriate for each species, not to mention the staff, the fucking customers, the everything else. Yeah, Planet Zoo is really elaborate. Oh, Jesus, so fucking complicated. Whereas the Jurassic World Evolution, simple. Build a pen, brilliant. Put an animal in it, great. There's people, fantastic. They want more toilets, I'm good. Nice and easy.
I gave it a try. It was, I think, I've said to you before, I got to the second island and it was every 2 minutes, the fence was broken, a dinosaur escaped, you had to trank the dinosaur, put the dinosaur back, fix the fence, and literally 30 seconds later, the exact same thing happened. And you couldn't get a foothold, you couldn't build any money up. Because all the dinosaurs kept escaping and all that. It just...
More bigger pens and stay comfortable. As long as they're absolutely fine, they don't break the fences. As long as you pick the right grassland for them. So that's the elaboracy in that one, is making sure there's the right balance of trees, grass and water. Outside of that, the animals don't give a shit. They've not overcomplicated it that much. So as long as the species you've got in there don't have too many of their own kind, so for example, the raptors don't really like parties more than 5. 5 or less, they're fine. 1 on its own, unhappy. 2, it'll get by. They like groups, so they're putting measurements to establish an animal's comfort based on the environment, the social groups, hunger, thirst, base level requirements that you just need to make sure are met. As long as they're comfortable, they don't try and break out. But the size of your pen is a factor in that, so what you'll be doing is making them too small, or not giving them enough grass, or not enough water, or not enough friends. Which is, again, it depends. It's probably more elaborate than a lot of people would like, but that hits about the elaboracy I'm happy with. I can deal with that level of difficulty and complexity. Brilliant. They're like a social crowd. They're like a big population of animals, but they only like 6 of themselves. That's good to know. So I can have 30 dinosaurs in here, but only 6 of them are them. I'm happy. The Ankylosaurus is a bit of a dickhead for that one, purely because it insists on having a group of pretty much exactly 3. If there's 4, it'll be a bit uncertain about that. If there's 2, it'll be a bit uncertain. But if there's 3, yeah, I can live with that. I'm okay with that. 3 is fine. And it's really irritating because if one dies, you have a short window of time to pop another one out before one of them gets pissed off and starts attacking the fence. It's that type of game. And I can deal with that level of difficulty and pain. I can cope with that one. But the Planet Zoo goes way, way overboard because it's got all of that function followed on by elaboracy of design, picking appropriate walls, so certain walls can be climbed, so you can't give them to primates, because obviously they'll climb the wall. Anything that climbs can't have that wall. Why? Because it'll be out and it'll eat someone. Fuck. They really did. What was probably a great amount of work to make such a wonderfully designed sim, but they really need an easy mode toggle which disables the following functions. 5,000 list. Brilliant, that seems much better. 2-point hospital. There you go. There's a sim that everyone can get on board with. Build a room. Done. Put shit in it. Done. Cure people. Done.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be much more complicated than that.
I like 2-point hospital because I just consider that a theme hospital remaster. It is virtually identical. It is design, in its concept, in most of the illnesses they're getting. It is theme hospital all over, but it looks better, it feels better, it plays better. It's really nice. If you want a simple waste of time game, 2-point hospital is definitely worth a go.
Cool.
Simple boredom.
Wonderful stuff.
Yes. Well, I don't know how long we've kept this going, but my phone battery's down to 7%, so I might have to encourage this to be the end of the session.
I was going to say, that is a perfect place to leave it.
Before I go, I will ask, have you got the girls this weekend?
No, not this weekend. I've got them next week.
That's fine. next week, the whole week.
Yeah, Tuesday to Sunday, maybe.
And again, not going too personal and in detail on these recordings of the world. How did it go the other week? The video session you had?
Yeah, mixed.
Good. I'll ask you more another time.
Yeah.
You can tell me more. But yeah, send me best little ones as ever. And yeah, we'll catch you next time.
I will do. I'll stop it.
Do I just hang up for this recording to record, or?
So if I stop it and then when I click end meeting, it'll stop.
Brilliant. I'll let you control that. You cut me as you need, mate.
Okay.
Roll one more fag before bed, and I'll. Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you very much for that. I'm going to stop the recording there.
Yep, we're recording.
So there you go then. What do you think to that? Another one done. Another lockdown podcast done. Big thanks to Ed for joining me. Like I said early on, it was arranged in the space of a day and stuff like that. Super cool. Good for Ed to be able to free up the time to join me. And a good podcast all round, I felt. YouTube watchers, make sure you're subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting, and then get friends and family to do the same. We'll really get the subscriber push going on this old lockdown situation. Everybody jump over to the YouTube, not to the YouTube, everybody jump over to the cookiecast.com. Check us out over there, send us some love. Lots of ways you could do that, email, social media, all the fun stuff, so give that a whirl. So there we go, until next time, I'll say bye, and I'll see you then.